everyone, and welcome to another expert session. First off, a big thank you to our trusted sponsor, AirMeet, for making this happen, and they're the platform that make these sessions possible. Today, we're joined by Felipe Cohen, Executive Director of Marketplace at Magazine Luiza, who's been instrumental in expanding Magalu's cross-border commerce and strengthening partnerships with global players. We'll explore the Brazilian retail landscape, Magalu's marketplace strategy, and key takeaways from NRF. So before we also dive in, I think it's also important to say that Magazine Luiza is one of the largest retailers in Brazil. If you never heard this name, so this is gonna be fire. Felipe, before we start, we always like asking a different question, and we were talking in the networking lounge about your career. And you've been working at Magalu now or Magazine Luiza for since 2015, as you said. So the first question I have is what makes someone work for an organization for such a long time? You know, because nowadays it's no longer that common, right? To be working for a long time in a company.
So, thank you, Carlos, for the introducing. It's a pleasure to be here, talk to all of you. So, I've been in Magalu since 2015,
Mhm.
and what make me stay since a long time, I think there are two main reasons. First of all, we have a slogan in the company that what don't change is as we always change. So the
Mhm.
company is always changing. Since I've been there, I think we changed it since the organizational structure until the process and the mentality many times. I've been working different areas, so every time I change my role in the company is like I'm changing a company because a new challenge, new things. And I think the second thing, it's a company really nice to work for. So I've already worked for many international companies like Walmart, like Carrefour, and it's totally different when you work in an owner company and an executive company. So the CEO, he always thinks on the longevity of the company. He's not thinking on his bonus on the end of the year. He's not thinking short-term decisions. He always plays for long-term decisions and for the best for the company. So when you are in an executive position, this kind of things make a really difference because the company really have a purpose, and you see it on the day by day. And after 10 years working in a company like that, it's like you are from the family, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you for sharing. You have a presentation today. You mentioned that we were going to do this. You're going to present what Magazine Luiza is all about. So that's very interesting. If you can share some of the numbers, of course, whatever you can share, of course, and also the Brazilian landscape. So if we could start there, Felipe, and yeah.
For sure. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see the presentation here?
Yeah, please give a thumbs
So,
up, but it's all good. I think it's all good here.
okay. So please feel free to interrupt anytime you want to make questions, to go deep in some numbers. So please feel free. I want to make it not only a presentation, but like an exchange. So just a
Great.
market overview. I think we have people from different industries here. So this is the last number that I have about retail sales in the world. So we've been seeing, of course, on the pandemic, we had a decrease in sales because everyone was stuck at home. But after that, the retail market has been growing at between 4 and 5% each year. When we talk about worldwide, it's a 30,000 trillions market, so it's a big market. I think United States and China are the most relevant markets in the world. And when you talk about online sales, the penetration is increasing. It's growing, of course, faster than total retail sales, and the penetration is increasing a lot. So numbers of 2024 on the world is about 20% of total sales of retail are from online commerce. But this is really different from country to country. And Brazil, we have a big opportunity because we are underpenetrated when we talk about e-commerce sales. If you compare to China, that is our benchmarking when we talk about online sales. I think we have a big opportunity. So these are the Brazil numbers. When we talk about the size of market, we are talking about two 250 billion dollars, I think, more or less in 2023. We don't have the numbers for 2024 yet, but they estimated an almost 300 billion US dollars market with a 10%, almost 11% of penetration. Uh, when you look to China, for example, you have three times almost the penetration. It's more than 30%. China, South Korea are for us here in Brazil much more a benchmark than US today. So I had the opportunity to go to China last year, and it's incredible how advanced they are when you talk about e-commerce. And when you look to the Asian players around the world, like TikTok Shop or Shopee, what they are doing, or even Temu from Pinduoduo, what they are doing is amazing. They are really bringing another concept of commerce. Uh, but when we talk about Brazilian market, I think it's a big opportunity for players who are coming because it's a market that it's really underpenetrated, and it's going to grow a lot in the next few years, even with all the economic problems that the country is facing. So I'd like to compare a little bit more about categories. So when you look for example, each category has a different maturity. When you look, for example, consumer health, in Brazil, you have less than 5% of sales in e-commerce, and you look to China, it's more than 33. And when you look to electronics, for example, Brazil and consumer appliance that are Magalu main categories, we are really well penetrated. We are 31%, 42%. We are more close to other countries than other categories. But we still have a big opportunity in the Brazilian market for many categories when you look to other countries. So if you have a company, if you want to come to Brazil, it's a big market and big opportunity for the next 10 years at least. I'd like to talk a little bit more about Magalu, the company I'm working for since 2015. This is institutional presentation. Just I'll try to be quick here, just to give you a context about who we are, the size we are, and the challenges that we are facing at the moment. And at the end, I was talking about open for conversation, Q&A, and exchange about anything that you want to know about Brazilian market or Brazilian e-commerce. So Magalu, it's a traditional brick and mortar company that started in 1957. We started as a brick and mortar retailer on the countryside of the country. It's our roots are from Franca. Franca is a small city on the countryside of São Paulo. We had a vast stores footprint, and almost 70% of population coverage in Brazil. That is a really, really continental country. We have nowadays more than 1,300 stores around the country. In 2000, we started our e-commerce with our 1P operation, and we started our omni-channel strategy. In 2010, we launched our app and a creation, our Luiza Labs, that is our uh, tech department. Uh, on that time, we decided to create technology instead of buying technology. So, and it was really, really important to do what we call inside that the digital transformation. So, it's not easy for a brick and mortar company to become a e-commerce, a digital company. You are talking about mindset, we're talking about tools. So in 2010, we started to create it with Luiza Labs our own products instead of buying from the market. And I think it was a really important step. And in 2010, we launched our marketplace, our 3P operation. So when we compare to our competitors, we are really, really young. I say that is almost a baby when we talk about business. We have only 6, 7 years of marketplace operation, so we are still learning a lot. And we start to diversify our business from traditional business model to a platform model. Uh, just some numbers of today. We have 36 million active customers. Our monthly active users are almost 50 millions. We have almost 500 millions visits per month. Uh, More than 7% of sales are already online, even with 1,300 stores. More than 70% of our sales come from the digital business. We have 350,000 sellers, companies selling through our platform on our marketplace. 7 million credit cards. We have our private label. We have a joint venture with the biggest Brazilian bank that is called Itaú. So we have a JV with them, and we have our own credit card. We have 21 warehouses and 165 cross-docking. Uh, since 2018, like I told you, we start to diversify our business mainly through acquisitions. So when we have the main brand that is called Magazine Luiza, but the nickname here in Brazil is Magalu. Everybody know us as Magalu. We are leaders on consumer goods here in Brazil. We have 30% of market share in refrigerator, television, cell phones. We are leader on that consumer goods categories. We have acquired in 2019 Netshoes. They are the online sports leader retailer. They are top of mind in Brazil. They are the sport leader in Latin America. We have acquired also Kabum, that are leader in games. So when we talk about technology and games, they are Brazilian leader online. We acquired Época Cosméticos, that is second today when we talk about online beauty retailer. We are bigger than Sephora or other companies in Brazil. Only Beleza na Web from Boticário Group is bigger than Época, but we are doing a great job when we talk about beauty. And we have another company that is not well known in Brazil because they only work on medium and small cities, that is called Ikeform. But they are the second when we talk about food delivery. The number one is iFood, far from the second. But we are bigger than Uber Eats, bigger than Happy here in Brazil when we talk about delivery. We are in more than 500 cities, but none of them are bigger than thousand people or 500,000 people, because it's really hard to compete with iFood here in Brazil. That is the number one. So the strategy of the company is to be in medium and small cities, and they are doing a great job. When you talk about brand, we are the between the 10 most valuable brands in Brazil for many years. And last year, we've been the ninth position with the most valuable Brazilian brand. We are losing only for beer brands and banks. Natura, that is a beauty, a really big beauty brand here, but we are the most valuable when we talk about retailer. Uh, and we have Lu. Lu is our digital influencer. She is the biggest digital influencer in the world. She has more than 30 million followers. She's bigger than Barbie, bigger than Minnie Mouse, than Mickey Mouse. She's the known human most followed person in the world. I'll just show you a video about what are we doing with Lu. And if you don't have the audio, just let me know.
Hi everyone! Today I'm gonna show you how I became the biggest virtual influencer in the world.
Magalu, Brazil's biggest retailer, believes that brands need to become creators to avoid being disadvantaged on social platforms. That's why Magalu turned Lu, its virtual assistant created in 2003, into its virtual influencer. In recent years, Magalu has invested and boosted her career, making her a celebrity of pop culture. Last year, she was unstoppable and reached the top. She performed in a real-life music video with Anita, and every outfit in the video was sold out on our app. She was featured in a virtual world clip with DJ Alok and sold out all the items used in the clip. She was also live on TV shows with Fortnite's cutting-edge technology. She's been hired and created content for some of the world's greatest brands, being the first virtual personality ever designed by Red Bull's official illustrator. She stole the show in the fashion world by being on the cover of Vogue magazine. She's also done a lot of amusing activities, especially dancing, and she danced a lot. Her engagements and reach numbers are off the charts. People don't simply follow her, they love her. Her success is driving meaningful engagement with our brand throughout her social channels, and she's becoming an important asset to our company.
Really nice.
Yes, sometimes people doesn't know the how much influence she has. Uh, Last year, it was the first time that she uh, did a TV commercial for a company that is not selling on Magalu, because she already she did the launch of Samsung smartphones, but last year she performed in a TV commercial on the main important company in Brazil is Global. Uh, Burger King hired her to do a TV commercial for the Whopper. So it was the first time that she performed outside our platform for a brand that doesn't sell on our platform. So she's getting more and more popular here in Brazil, and she's an important asset for the brand.
Amazing.
Just
Really interesting.
just giving you some numbers, since 2016, that's we say that when we transformed our company. So in 2016, the physical stores were 76% of sales. Then we launched our marketplace marketplace in 2018, and we've been growing consistently since 2016. And today we have almost 73% of our sales online. We have a really, really strong logistics operation, because here in Brazil, logistics is a big challenge. You don't have the local post office doing a great job, or you don't have a big couriers company here in Brazil. So each retailer has to create their own logistics platform, and we create a big logistics platform, so big that we are now offering services to the market. So we created the Magalog, and 30% of the volume that is operating is not for Magalu. We have operation for many, even competitors. So the biggest Netshoes competitor in Brazil, for example, is Centauro, that is always fighting with Netshoes for the leadership on sports good, and they hire us. They are using Magalog services, so it's a new outcome revenue for the company. We have our fulfillment, when we use all our infrastructure for helping our sellers to have a better service level, to have a better delivery times. And just to show you a little bit, I always like to show some videos, because it's better to see in real life than me explain.
Jamin Suplementos é uma empresa que vende suplementos alimentares, né, que fica no Shopping Popular, no centro de Maceió. Porém, o nosso foco principal hoje é a internet. Desde quando a gente entrou no parceiro Magalu, estamos vendendo para o Brasil inteiro. Assim que a gente recebe o pedido, imediatamente a gente vai lá e posta. Muito simples. Na esquina mesmo aqui já tem uma loja. A gente usa toda a estrutura que já está pronta. Então é só você ter o produto, postar a mercadoria e tudo fica por conta deles.
A Na Web Utilidades é uma empresa de vendas online que trabalha com utilidade doméstica e brinquedo. O Magalu passa aqui uma vez por dia e quando o fluxo de venda está muito alto, ele passa até 3 vezes por dia. Além dessa coleta, nós temos a prioritária, que é a entrega que o cliente vai receber no mesmo dia, e temos a super rápida. Então, se o cliente está aqui próximo, vem um motoboy e o motoboy já leva até o cliente final. É surreal, é super rápido mesmo.
A DD Máquinas é uma empresa de máquinas e ferramentas localizada em Sorocaba e é focada principalmente no mundo digital. Desde que nós começamos com o Magalu, tudo aquilo que o Magalu ele foi criando, nós fomos aderindo. Quando o Magazine Luiza ele ofereceu para nós a possibilidade de ter cargas pesadas, o Magalu Coletas, a gente aceitou de primeiro, porque para nós esse foi um diferencial bem interessante. Porque aí entrou, né, roçadeiras que antes não entrava, máquinas para jardinagem, escadas. E aí depois teve o fulfillment, né, que é ter o produto nosso administrado por uma empresa do tamanho do Magazine Luiza.
Através do fulfillment, a gente traz o estoque do seller para dentro dos CDs do Magalu e faz todos os processos operacionais como se fossem produtos do Magalu. A gente armazena, a gente expede, fatura e acompanha o tracking até a entrega final ao cliente.
Toda a estrutura, né, todo o know-how que o Magazine Luiza demorou anos para ter, tudo que é do Magazine Luiza hoje passou a ser também dos sellers parceiros.
Vender na plataforma do Magalu é ter acesso a todos os serviços do Magalu Entregas. Hoje nós temos várias modalidades à disposição do seller em todas as regiões do Brasil.
Quando você tem uma malha do tamanho do Magazine Luiza, você tem duas coisas. A entrega no tempo que o cliente quer e um preço reduzido na questão do frete.
A logística do Magalu ela é multicanal. Ela se adapta à necessidade do seller para fazer a entrega mais rápida ao cliente final e ajudar na conversão de vendas.
É bom para quem está comprando e também para quem está vendendo, porque a entrega é rápida.
A entrega é muito rápida. Não tem como vender online e não vender no Magalu.
So just an overview of our logistics, because what we try to do is use our all our physical networks, so our stores. We utilize it then not only.
I think he broke. Gustavo, is it just me? Let's just
as a
wait.
sales point anymore. So since the
Hello?
sales agents, the customer,
It's breaking a little bit, Felipe. No. Um, Gustavo.
here. Hello.
Yeah, I'm just want to make sure if it's my internet or yeah, is it? Yeah, it was breaking a little bit. I think in your connection.
I'm back here. Is it working?
Yes. So we kind of lost after you finished the presentation, the video. If you could just repeat, then please just go ahead.
For sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry about that. So I was just telling that we try to use our physical network that is already installed. We don't need to make any kind of investment to help us to help our efficiency on logistics. So since 2016, the physical store is not only for sales anymore. Use like a drop-off point for sellers, use it for a pickup point for customers, a return for customers, return point for sellers. So and even for sellers hunting. So on the video you could see a small company selling on a city on the northeast of the Brazil. So they used to be we say here in Brazil analog company. They was only sale on physical stores. Then our team who works in our physical stores when the stores are not so full, instead of talking to each other, they go to the streets, they go to the commerce avenues and places that have on each city in Brazil, and they know very well. They know much better than us that are here on the headquarters, and they earn money for that, and they bring that companies to sell through our platform. So with this strategy, with this capillarity, we have access to many medium and small companies that were not selling online, and they start to sell through our platform. We try to use our biggest audience in Brazil also to create a powerful ads platform. Of course, we are already far from the benchmark like Amazon US or Flipkart is doing in India, but we are growing a lot our ads business. We have not only our own audience, but through acquisitions, we have access to content portals really relevant here in Brazil that talk to their audience. So we have, for example, Jovem Nerd. They are a phenomenon here in Brazil. They are the most listened podcast in Brazil for many years. They are so connected with their audience, and we use it to monetize our ads platform. I'm not going deep, but we have also a bank. We have Magalu Bank, and we have two big pillars on the Magalu Bank. One is our customers, of course, and the second one that since 2018 is growing year after year is to provide financial services to our sellers. So we can lend money, we can factor in receivables, we have digital account, we have many services for the sellers, and for majority of them, we have a lot of information. We know how much they sell with us. Sometimes we have their product with us. So we use all the data we have from our sellers to improve our numbers. And we have launched recently also Magalu Cloud is the first Brazilian cloud in Brazil. In Brazil, we have a big problem is a majority for medium and small customers. It's really hard for them to hire a cloud platform, a cloud service, because it's too expensive. everything is in dollar. Every time the dollar goes up, they had a big problem. Sometimes the big cloud providers offer services that they don't need, but they are paying for it. So we come with a really, really nice solution for medium and small companies here in Brazil. And we are growing really, really fast with Magalu Cloud. And something that is really, really important for us is that everything we do is based on our purpose. That is bring access to many to what is privileged to a few. So every time that we have some doubts about what decisions to take, we remember this. And always focus on ESG aspects. So Luiz Helena, that is from the family, and she's the board president nowadays. She doesn't run the company anymore. She's really, really an influential people here in Brazil. She won every year a lot of prizes. We have a really, really open fight against women's accessibility here in Brazil. So Magalu is always leading these questions. For us, is really, really important to fight for the women equality. Here in Brazil, we still have big problems with that. And Luiza is leading these questions, not only in Magalu, but in the country as well. And that's it. This is what we call today our ecosystem. So we have our retail brands like Magalu, Netshoes, Época. They are all retail brands. We have Magalog, that is our logistic platform, and through many acquisitions that we did. We have Magalu Bank, that our financial services platform. We have Magalu Cloud, when we not only offer cloud as well, but a lot of services that we learned how to do to small and medium retailers, and sometimes big retailers. So many companies use our search engine that we develop. If you go to a famous Brazilian ice cream company that is called Bacio de Latte, all the PDVs are from Magalu. So we offer a lot of services. And we have Magalu Ads to try to monetize our audience. So just a context about who we are and what we are doing from the last 10 years. Just to give you some context about what are the challenges that we are facing now. So I think the last 2 years were really tough for the Brazilian market, because the interest rates become from 2% to 14%. And we receive a lot of companies from outside that are doing a great job. So we have Shopee, we have Temu. This year, TikTok Shop is arriving in Brazil too. And so the competition is getting higher and higher. When you talk about company size, we are the second. Mercado Libre is the number one here in Brazil. When you talk about online sales, we are the third, because Shopee already surpassed Magalu here. I think the biggest competition, the biggest challenge here is the creating some differentiation, because it's totally different from online market. Is really different, because you can change from one store to another just with a click. So it's really hard to compete with companies that are on the bottom line. Don't need to be profitable. We are, like I told you, the beginning. We are on the stock market, on the Brazilian stock market, but we have more than 60% of the company we still own with the family. So all we did is growing with profitability. When we try to differentiate ourselves is on the relation with the customer. So not only, and when I say customer nowadays, I am in the role of marketplace. I can say customer from both sides. So the seller is our customer because they sell through our platform, and the final customer, the client who buy from our platform. So Magalu is always trying to build a win-win relationship with both sides. So I think this is how we try to differentiate ourselves. And I think our biggest differential today is our physical stores. All of our online competitors, they are pure online players. They don't have anything physical. And I think we try to differentiate ourselves using the physical stores as a powerful asset. So for the customer, it's a better experience to exchange a merchandise, for example, on the physical stores instead of going to a Correios agents or or if he has some problems, people that doesn't like to call to a place and talk to a robot, or if you want something, press one. If you want another thing, press two. So even if when we think about our experience as a customer, I think there isn't anything more annoying than that. So I think we say to our customer, any problem you have, you can go to physical stores. For 7% of population, we have physical stores less than 5 kilometers from their house. So we can really create this kind of connection with the customer. I think this is what we're trying to do to differentiate ourselves.
Very good, very good. Felipe, thank you for your presentation. You guys are all welcome to share your questions. As always, we always invite people also to join us on stage. So Gustavo, please check whoever wants to join us on stage so we can invite them and have these questions like a face-to-face with Felipe here, which is it is an opportunity we offer our members. Now, my question is more regarding the cross-border aspect, Felipe. So you had a partnership with Knock Knock, right, and AliExpress. So perhaps if you can talk to us about the importance of the cross-border for you guys. You guys are also doing some cross-border to the US, right, which is very, very interesting. So that would be great.
Yeah, so I think cross-border, it's a way that we find to differentiate ourselves with types of products that were very hard for us to compete here in Brazil. So, and we have different strategies with AliExpress and with Knock Knock. So, Knock Knock, we are focused on bringing products from USA to Brazil, and we are talking about high ticket items, really important brands that you can't find here in Brazil, or the price is too high that makes it not available anymore. So we can bring a different assortment, a really powerful assortment with Knock Knock. Here in Brazil, one of the biggest Magalu assets, when you compare Magalu versus the competitors, is the power of brand. It's a trustworthy brand. So what people say, not me, what customers say is, if I'm gonna buy something about $10, I can buy it anywhere. I don't mind. But if I wanna buy something about $500, I'll buy it at Magalu because I know the company, I know it's not gonna sell anything from counterfeit. It's not gonna be if I have some problem, I go to a store and I talk face to face to a vendor and he's gonna solve my problem. So with Knock Knock, what we did is to bring these kind of brands that are really really relevant, and many, because there are many people that doesn't have the opportunity to travel to USA to buy this kind of things. So we are bringing this assortment, and our partnership with AliExpress is the opposite side. We are trying to focus on low AOV items, because here in Brazil, Magalu is not strong at this kind of items. We started our platform as leaders on TV, refrigerators, on high IOV items, and when we start to talk with AliExpress, it was a really really nice opportunity to work on this kind of items. They are really really strong, and it's really hard for us to compete with other Chinese platforms on this kind of low AOV items. So it was the first time that in the world that they did this kind of partnership. Is the first time that they put their products in another platform that's not only their own platform. It was a really nice experience to negotiate this deal with Alibaba, because they are really really a giant company. I had the opportunity to go to their headquarters. It's huge. Everything's huge in China. Now, you know, all the numbers make you look like a child. So we start to talk about, oh, I have this number of sellers, this number of products listed. So for us, it was like a proud sale. We have 40 million products listed on our platform, and they said, "Oh, we have 4 billion," so it's something like that. So it's it's another scale. Everything in China is another scale. So we are learning a lot with them. I think it's the first partnership that we did with a huge company for both sides. And our biggest strategy is that to bring low AOV items, because here in Brazil, because of logistics, you know, it's really, really hard to earn money with low AOV items on e-commerce. And everyone who try to lose money. That's why when you look, for example, for supermarket penetration here in Brazil or some categories, the penetration is so low, because it's really, really hard to earn money. Everyone who try quit fast, because it's not sustainable. So I think this was the partnership of AliExpress. It was a way that we find to sell low AOV items, earn money, and bring another assortment that Brazilians doesn't have access here. So that's why
Brilliant.
we did this partnership.
Thank you. Thank you. So Thales, welcome. Thales is one of our premium members.
Hi,
joined
Thales.
Evolve
Nice to meet you.
a while ago.
Nice to meet you,
Yes,
Felipe.
Thales, go ahead.
Well, first, it's great to speak to you, Felipe. I participated of the marketplace project on Netshoes in the beginning, when it was in the previous management with Marcel Currian. So nice to.
Wow, nice.
And well, I have a business consultant here. I live in Madrid, and then I see one market that is growing a lot here in Europe in general. It is the refurbished market, which is like the secondhand mobiles, and also specifically electronic devices. And how Magazine Luiza sees these markets for now and for the future?
It's a big opportunity. Here in Brazil, it's a market that it's not so big as in Europe and United States, but you know that here in Brazil, what is trend in the United States or in Europe 2 or 3 years later comes here. So probably will be something really big in the next years. The refurbished market, it's growing a lot here, but mainly for clothes, getting bigger and bigger. When you look to physical stores, uh, big brands are emerging here in the Brazilian market. Uh, we have, but we are now working only with cell phones. We have a partnership with a Brazilian company that is sell refurbished cell phones. Uh, we are starting small. It's not a big business for us, but we are getting our eyes closer to that because we know that it's gonna be big in the next few years. But it's still a small business, and we are doing it at the moment only with cell phones.
Great. Thank you. Well, I added you on LinkedIn, so well, in the future, if you want to exchange some ideas about this market, I'm happy to help you.
Oh, it's gonna be a pleasure because probably it's something that we're gonna invest in the next few years. So probably we can talk to each other, and who knows, we can make a project together in the future.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's I think that's an interesting market, and it's how you put the narrative out there, especially for uh, some clothes and collectible items. It's a market that grows in value, right? If you, for example, watches and some clothes, some items, this market is crazy because some stuff you can't really find some
True.
stuff, and then you want to buy. Uh, yeah, and I think like the whole narrative around ESG is powerful there as well, right? So it's a major opportunity.
Yeah, we are discussing about this with Netshoes that Tali said that already did a project because for some sneakers, it's
Exactly.
it's a crazy market. So there are some pair of sneakers that are limited editions that
Hmm.
are uh, there's a big market about sneakers, hair sneakers that are being selling and a lot of people collecting. So it's a great opportunity. It's a mixture between usage, a refurbished, but it's more like a collectible, items. So we
Hmm.
are discussing a lot about it's a big opportunity, for example, for Netshoes that to create something like that.
Hmm. I think a question on that, Felipe. Do you think sometimes if that is not the core of the business, so let's say that you guys sell electronics, right? Which is, I mean, Magazine Luiza was known for selling electronics, white goods, whatever you call. Um, then you introduce a line like that, like in Denmark. There's a company. They're very successful, just selling refurbished laptops and phones, right? So my daughter the other day, she was saying, "Oh, Dad, I need a laptop," and so like, no way, I'm gonna buy you a new laptop. I'm gonna go definitely for this store because I mean she's what 10, 11 years, uh, could break at any time, right? So and then you will pay a fraction, and they're really good. So, but the question I would have more like, do you think sometimes a company might consider taking that step because that could cannibalize the main business, or how do you see that? You know? Um,
Yeah, for us, the biggest we don't think about cannibalization because if the customer is looking for lower price, if we don't offer, he's gonna buy anywhere else.
yeah, exactly.
So people say so cannibal. The biggest concern about us is how to create a good experience for the customer, and it needs to be clear for the customer. This one is new, this one is refurbished, it's not so easy to assure a good quality for the refurbished item. So that's why we started small with cell phones. We are testing. Sometimes customer get confused. So, but I didn't know that Magalu is selling something refurbished. So we are testing step by step. But for sure, this is the biggest challenge. How do you communicate it? We are discussing this all the time. We're gonna put in the same platform because we already have million of visitors. But how we communicate it to the customers? How not to let the customer confuse it? So the experience that we are going to create it needs to be different from a new product. So that's the biggest reason we didn't scale this operation, because we don't have the answer yet.
Got it. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Gustavo, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so it's been a great presentation that you brought from Magalu. And I remember Magalu was going to a few years ago, I would say. I remember it was building this app to be like the Brazilian super app, like maybe using the Chinese benchmark, as you said. That's the benchmark you follow more. So, but how is this still on the road? So is Magalu still looking for that, or that has changed a bit, or because of
it changed? Yes, we changed our strategy a little bit. So, like you said, when Fred went to China, he really got inspired for what the Chinese were doing, and the Chinese created the super app. So you can do everything in one app. You can get a taxi, you can deliver food, you can order something, you can chat with your friends. So they really created the super app. And when we arrived in Brazil, we said, "Oh, that's the vision." We already have millions of customers visiting here, but we discovered that the customer behavior here is different, and it's not so easy to change the customer behavior. So if I that's why, for example, we bought Ike Fome. So on the beginning, the strategy was, if I put Ike Fome on the super app, people who is entering Magalu looking for a notebook will ordering food on Ike Fome. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It's really hard to change customer behavior. So, for example, we are doing a big efforts to evolve long tail categories at Magalu, because, like you said, we started as brick and mortar physical stores. Our physical stores still have a strong presence on the landscape, the Brazilian landscape. And people connect to Magalu with cell phones, refrigerators, and this kind of product. When you say that we can buy your dog food at Magalu, it's not natural, we are doing a big effort to change customer mindset and say, hey, if you want, we have everything you need. You don't need to go to a pet shop. You can buy online at Magalu with the same price, the same delivery time, sometimes better price, better delivery times. But we discovered that to change customer behavior, customer mindset is not so easy. So, and here in Brazil, different from China, you already have consolidated companies. So you have Uber and 99 that are really consolidated. You have iFood that is really consolidated. You have WhatsApp. So I think it's really hard for everyone here in Brazil, not only Magalu, to create a super app, and the customer will do everything in only one app. 5 years ago it was our dream, but now we change it, and we don't believe that it's gonna be possible anymore. Not only for Magalu, but for no one.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And well, I believe it's a bit connected with the question that Thales made two moments ago. But having today all this competition in the Brazilian market, and also the foreign competition, like you made a partnership with a competitor, but it's kind of competitor, a frenemy, let's say. But having so much competition in the Brazilian market with the other players and the other marketplaces, how are you being able to bring change? So, what is the biggest challenge that you have today? It would be more in this direction that you said. So, explaining for the customers that you have a comprehensive sort of products, or would it be like so bringing new sellers? What's the biggest challenge that you're facing today, or that you
I think
predict to have?
you touched the most important point. I think this is our biggest challenge, to put in the head of the customers that Magalu is the one-stop shop for them, that he can buy everything on Magalu. This is really, really hard. We are doing a campaign from 2 years that is called Tem no Magalu. So to try to pass the message that everything he can find in Magalu. So I think this is because, like you said, Brazilian online market is really, really, really competitive. So and it's changing really fast. If you look 5 years ago, how was the landscape of competition? Is totally different from today. So and probably in 5 years will be different again. So our I remember when I entered the Magalu, our competitors were most of them Brazilian companies that are coming from physical to digital, exactly like us, that had the same researches, the same problems. So nowadays we are competing with giants. So we have Mercado Livre that is doing a great job, not only in Brazil, in Latin America, they are huge. We have Shopee that are from Singapore. They have infinite money. You have Temu that already come, and you're gonna have TikTok shop. So you know how much noise they are doing in United States or the countries they arrive. So the Brazilian landscape is really, really competitive, and is changing because you saw the numbers. Everyone wants to get the growing that are expected for the next years. It's for sure that sometimes it's gonna be 20, 25, 30% of penetration. It's clear that's gonna happen. So everyone wants a piece of this cake. So this is our biggest challenge, here in Brazil. But something that is really interesting that we say for our teams, and even what give us direction to our strategy, is that we are playing an infinite game. So it's totally different from a finite game. So when you go to a soccer match, you know the rules. The rules doesn't change. You have 11 players. You have time to start, have time to end, and at the end, who wins? It's over, and that's it. When you play an infinite game, it has no end. The competition changes every day. The rules can change. See what is happening, for example, for cross border, or the taxation, or but the rules changes every day. And what we are aiming is being better than yesterday. If every day we are better than yesterday and better than yesterday, not worried about the competitors, for sure in 10 years we'll be here in the market fighting against another competitors, fighting against with different challenges. So that's what we are aiming now.
Great. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, so we are on to an hour. So Felipe, I want to thank you very much. Gustavo, thanks for your question. I think just I mean, first off, really interesting presentation. You gave us an overview on the Brazilian market. You explained what Magazine Luiza is all about. You guys are an ecosystem, more so than a retail. Like it's a big ecosystem.
That's it.
Right? That and a powerful one. So perhaps some final remarks, Felipe, that you like to share. And of course, if people in our community, they can find you easily. Of course, you're in the club, but if other people want to know more about Magazine Luiza or find you, what's the best place? And of course, if you have some final remarks, you're most welcome. Or perhaps cover something that we didn't touch on this interview here.
No, I think that's all. I appreciated the invitation. It was a pleasure for me to share a little bit the Brazilian market, about what Magalu is doing, our challenges. I'm here open for connections. If someone needs some help on the Brazilian market, I'm able to help if I can. And that's it. Thank you very much, Carlos and Gustavo, for bringing me and giving this opportunity.
Thanks very much. All right. Thank you all. And tomorrow we have an expert session, a very
Thank
interesting
you.
one. Yeah, tomorrow is about China, Felipe. So if you have time, same time, 1 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll try.
we have a guy, Jen Long. He has a community with 40,000 sellers, and he's going to be talking about Temu, the rise of Temu, and Shein, and all of these players from his perspective. So it's going to be interesting. Thank you so much, and I'll see you.
Thank you,
on the other
Carlos.
side.
Thank you, Gustavo. Nice
Thanks.
to see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.